As much as I like to give you guys the most in-depth SMA free trainings on YouTube and really just go nuanced with my topics and my how-to guides, I also think there's a lot of value in just reducing all complexity to the core fundamentals of having success with a social media marketing agency. Especially because look, at the end of the day, we live in a sea of information. Maybe 100 years ago, you could go to the library and find really solid nuggets of information and you'd be super happy about that. But in today's economy and really in today's world, we live in a sea of information, and it's also much about garnering as much information as possible, because that leads to information overload and just decision paralysis, but actually boiling down everything to its fundamentals and boiling down everything into what truly matters. Basically being able to synthesize information, cut through the noise, and pick out the few things that actually matter. And so in today's video, what I want to do is I want to share with you the only 4 things that actually matter when it comes to building a successful 100K SMMA. The first one, which a lot of people completely neglect, is crafting and iterating your irresistible offer. And again, I've made a lot of videos on my free Facebook community covering this topic. If you want to apply to that, there's going to be a link in the description completely for free. But one of the main problems that a lot of agency owners have is that they jump straight into selling their service. And I'm a big proponent of just going to market as soon as possible to test your offer. But the problem is, if you haven't given any thought to your offer, but not only that, if you also have the typical offer that everyone has, like running Facebook ads for e-com brands, then cool, get in the queue, because you're going to take a long time to sign your first client. Your offer is just not irresistible enough. And so there's a lot of value in putting just a little bit of thought, at least, into having an irresistible offer that can cut through the noise for a specific niche that is also not just your service, but there's a very clear process to results to it and a very clear dollar sign attached to it. Again, I've talked about this in length on my free Facebook mastermind. All I want to do in this video is synthesize information and really reduce all complexity for you, but that's really the first thing that you need to keep in mind. Crafting your irresistible offer, going to market, and then actually iterating according to feedback. Iterating according to things that the market actually is asking from you on the sales calls, on the demo calls that you're having with prospects. The next key thing is booking strategy sessions, discovery calls, whatever you want to call them, predictably and pretty much on autopilot. You need to have a system to book in at least, at the very minimum, 3 to 7 calls, more like 5 to 7 calls every single week. And if you don't have that, it's going to be very hard to scale an agency predictably, and it's going to be very hard to have peace of mind. And look, unfortunately, one of the problems that I see with a lot of agency owners is that maybe they get to 5K per month or 10K per month, right? They tell their family, friends about it. They get that new nice apartment, that new nice car, right? But then next month, they're back to square one. They're back to maybe 0, or 3 clients drop them, and they don't have a nice full pipeline of qualified leads that they can onboard, or they can take an application call with and get them enrolled in their service. So you need to have a very big focus on getting meetings booked in, and a lot of people completely neglect the importance of this whole topic, or they just go about it completely in the wrong way. Banging out hundreds of emails or hundreds of cold calls for 6 to 8 hours a day is not a way of booking in meetings predictably and pretty much on autopilot, because at the end of the day, you need to measure input versus output. A lot of people come to me and they're like, Jaime, look, I signed a client, or I signed 2 clients. And I go, okay, cool. How long did it take you, and how many hours did you work a day? And maybe they say it took me a year and I worked for, 4 to 6 hours a day. And quite frankly, that's not very impressive. Like, sure, if you put in work towards something, eventually you're going to get an outcome, right? But what I'm looking at is how much input did you put in to create an output? So you need to have not only a system for booking in calls predictably, but also a system where you can create that system and put little input to create a lot of output. For example, like an organic profile funnel where you have an appointment setting sequence, and then you also have content that is constantly nurturing these qualified leads within a specific niche, for example. This video, again, is just to decrease complexity, synthesize information, and that is the second key that truly matters when building your agency. The third thing is doing and closing these strategy sessions. You need to have a really solid sales system. Do not just expect to be closing at 50% close rate starting out, but you want to hit 40 to 50% close rate, especially if you're having what I recommend, which is demo call and then strategy session, a 2-call close framework, especially for those bigger clients. Long story short, you need to have a good sales system. When you jump on these calls, you need to get good with sales. No point in booking 5 to 7 meetings, at least minimum, every single week if you cannot close these meetings at a high close rate. And the final thing is obsessive client experience and satisfaction. The clients that you do sign, you want to keep them for as long as possible, because it is easier typically to keep a client than to sign a new client. 7 months to 12 months in your first year is what I expect from my students, which is really solid. Most people in this space have a 2 to 3 month retention. And so 7 to 12 months is really what you want to shoot for, because this will give you just peace of mind, right? You'll be able to sign clients and know that you can keep them on for quite a while. And again, going back to that example that I gave you of people scaling to 10K per month and then dropping back down to zero, it will avoid those situations. You'll have a predictable long-term business, which allows you to make decisions like quitting your job, like not going to university, like buying that expensive car that you want, like moving into your dream apartments, like taking that fancy vacation. It allows you to make both short-term and long-term decisions with a lot more peace of mind. The final thing I'll say on that point is note that I didn't just say client results. Client experience and satisfaction means also communication and reporting with clients. Results is just simply not enough. Yes, you want to have a contractor that delivers incredible results for your clients, and you also want to get involved on the service delivery, but there will always be peaks and troughs when it comes to service delivery. There will be days where maybe results don't go your way. Obviously, you constantly want to be trending upwards, but in the micro, you may have peaks and troughs. What allows you to keep client satisfaction very high is just having really solid communication protocols, very transparent, very honest, keeping your client in the loop, very proactive, and also really solid reporting mechanisms, automated reporting dashboards, and the list goes on. That is that for this video. Now, if you haven't subbed to this channel and you want to catch more free trainings, go ahead and do so. And I'm also posting exclusive free trainings on how to build your social media marketing agency on my free Facebook mastermind. There's going to be a link in the description to it. And with that being said, I will see you on the next video. Peace.